Hey everyone. So for this video, I really want to talk about um, some predictions that I have about the upcoming Avengers film. Some things that, um, as far as recapping what happened previously in all these Avengers stories, like Hulk and like Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. I really want to talk about kind of how all those things that happened in those 4 or 5 or 6 films I think are going to tie into the Avengers really well. And I really just want to talk about kind of my personal opinion of what I think Josh Whedon should do and what I hope he does in the film. And so let's get started. So I'm going to start this video with the film that kind of it was kind of the early attempt at getting this whole Avengers thing up and going, and it didn't quite officially start yet. But it is the first of these 4 heroes that got to have a movie or a first big film to hit the theaters. And so I'm going to talk about the Hulk first. So the first attempt at the Hulk came out in 2003. I believe Ang Lee directed this version. And in this version, we got to see more of the origin of the Hulk. We got to see, Bruce Banner being exposed to gamma radiation, the whole deal with his father, and with him being a part of the experiment that his father made, or his father was a part of when Bruce Banner was a child, and kind of how that affected his life later on with becoming the Hulk and everything. Um, but a lot of people didn't like this one. I remember even when I saw it in the theater, it felt very cartoonish. You can tell that the technology was very new at the time, and a lot of people didn't really seem to get how to use it that well. Um, I wouldn't say it's as horrible as some people make it out to be, but it's not one of the better ones. If anything, it's probably one of the weaker films on here that I'm going to talk about today. Um, but it had its moments. I mean, if you want to see this giant green monster smashing things, you definitely got that. But it was missing a lot of things I think a good film needs. And yeah, the Hulk didn't do it for me. Um, but then we later got the Hulk again. That was some people claimed that they finally did it right, but in my opinion, it was kind of like the first Hulk, where it's like, okay, well they got these things right, but they didn't quite get this thing right still. And that came out in 2008. This was the Edward Norton version, and this was done by a director I'm not familiar with. Um, but in this version, we really didn't get to see a lot of the origin of Bruce Banner and a lot of his origin with the Hulk. But we do know that he was trying to escape from it. He moved to another country. And for those who saw the first Hulk film, that was kind of the unofficial sequel side story aspect that this film took on. So it was both a reboot and a sequel at the same time. So it was kind of interesting how they chose to do that as far as that perspective goes. Um, the whole cast was recasted. Like we had Liv Taylor, I think this time instead of Jennifer Connelly and everything. A new villain played by Tim Roth. He was some type of military guy that was interested in the Hulk's powers and wanted to use them for evil. So pretty similar to Hulk's dad from the first film, but different hero nonetheless, or different villain nonetheless. Um, and in this version too, we got to see um, and what's kind of cool too is the Incredible Hulk is more the hero side of the Hulk, and the Hulk is the kind of Bruce Banner dealing with this inner monster in himself. And so the Incredible Hulk was all about, well, what if Bruce Banner tried to use his Hulk powers for good? What if he tried to use them to protect the good from evil, rather than just saying, oh, well, I just have this huge monster inside of me? He said, well, no, what if I use this for good? What if I actually have a purpose for having this green monster that I can turn into? But anyway, guys, for the Hulk, I really want to see the Avengers take advantage of the fact that the Hulk is invincible. Because no matter what Loki does to him, or no matter what his minions do to him, he's just going to get angrier and he's going to become more invincible. So I think that the Avengers should put this to their advantage when fighting Loki and his army. If anything, this could be how they win in the film, how they win against the army, win against this war against Loki in the film just by Hulk's invincibility alone. So that'd be kind of cool if they try to play off that a bit. Um, it would just be a great advantage for the Avengers. I mean, they have this invincible Hulk. Tony Stark in the trailer even admits that, well, we have an army, well, we have a Hulk. So it's kind of cool how if they would, well, at least what I'm hoping they're having some kind of a invincibility factor to the Hulk in this film that the Avengers really puts to good use. Now on to my favorite hero of the Avengers, and that's Iron Man. His film came out in 2008, and his second film came out in 2010. So out of these 4 heroes, Iron Man had the first official sequel out of these 4 heroes. And if you don't know the origin of Tony Stark, he got stuck in a cave. Um, he was asked to make a missile. Instead, he makes a suit of armor to help him escape. It was like a super suit of armor, so he had powers with it too. He manages to escape. He gets home. He has a new route for his business. Rather than making weapons, he continues to upgrade his armor and protect good from evil. So that's Iron Man's contribution to society as far as protecting them from evil. Um, but as far as Iron Man's impact on the Avengers film, I would like to see the fact that Tony Stark is really rich. He knows how to make a lot of weapons, and based off what we saw from the first film, it seems like he can make a lot of really good weapons based off a small amount of materials that he finds in a box of scraps. And it would just be kind of interesting if the Avengers kind of play off that and really show that he's this really rich guy who can finance this ultimate army against Loki and the destruction of Earth. It'd be kind of cool if the whole smart alecky side of Tony Stark came out in this film, and it kind of many of the jokes came from him, or he was kind of playing off something that someone else was saying. So it's kind of cool if they were to do that in this movie. And yeah, it would just be great to just see all this technology that he has, like in his kind of his layer where he creates stuff with Jarvis and all his cars and everything. It'd be just kind of cool if he managed to kind of incorporate all these things that he's made throughout the years and really put it to good use for the whole Avengers team. So I'm really hoping that Josh Whedon puts that to good use as well. For Thor, you guys, with Thor, he was kind of kicked out of his kingdom because of a whole misunderstanding between him and his brother, who is the villain of the film, Loki. Um, Loki has like this secretive aspect of his personality that you'll find out in the Thor film if you haven't seen it yet, that is connected to the Frost Giants. Um, but for Thor, you guys, I know I was really brief with Thor there, but I really want to get through all this stuff. I'd really like to see something really personal between him and Loki happen in this film. It would kind of give more of a reason why Loki was the main villain rather than just saying, well, Loki really didn't die. We'll just put him as the villain. I'm hoping it's more than that for this film. I'm really hoping that Thor and Loki have something really personal going on in this film and that it really motivates Thor to win against his army throughout the film. Um, One thing that Thor kind of did that I'm hoping that Avengers explains is how exactly did Thor get back to Earth? The bridge for him to get back to Earth was destroyed. So there's almost like little to no hope of Thor getting back to Earth at this point. And I'm just really curious to know what will how the heck is he going to get back to Earth? I mean, I don't know how that's possible at this point. And I know Natalie Portman is not signed on to Avengers. I'm pretty sure she's not in this film. And if she is, it's probably just a cameo. But I really like to see maybe Thor talk about Jane Foster at some point in this film. Maybe talk about how it affected his life, how he remembers her as this really lovely woman that he would hope to see again. So I hope that the whole Jane Foster thing is connected to Thor in this film. And it'd be interesting to kind of see maybe he does try to find her at one point in the film. I mean, he said as soon as he got back to Earth, he'd want to talk to Jane again. So it'd be kind of cool if the film tries to accomplish this too. Um, and for Captain America, guys, I probably don't have to get into his origin that much, but um, he tried to be a part of the army. He was too small and not strong enough. He signed onto a super soldier project, which made him super strong, making him the Captain America of today. He has super strength and super speed, and of course the trademark Captain America shield that he uses. Um, but I guess the kind of the thing I'm hoping to see with Captain America in this film is maybe he tries to be the leader of this team. That would obviously make the most sense, and it would be the most respectful to the comics. I mean, Captain America pretty much was the leader, along with Nick Fury, of this Avengers team. So it'd be kind of cool if he tries to be the leader throughout the film for the Avengers. I saw in the trailer that he had some kind of a gun during the battles. I'm hoping it's some kind of a unique weapon and not just a gun. Um, I'm really hoping they do something unique with that. Um, Rather than just saying, "Oh, here's a gun and go fight this battle for us." Um, so I guess for Captain America overall, I really want to see something stand out for him, and because he's been around really long, or like a really long time, just like Thor has been. It would just be interesting to see kind of how he stands out in the group, how Josh Whedon chooses to take that on. So anyway, guys, I'm really looking forward to Avengers. I'll either post this right before its release or way before it. I'm not quite sure yet. But I'm hoping all of you see Avengers as well. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's kind of the dark night of Marvel comic films. And I hope to see you all back here when I review the actual Avengers film.